Was good with it. Was handing people. Was good with it. And another one. And another one. Okay. Got that out the way. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Have that out the way. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Have that out the way.
Tonight, thieves are on the hunt for copper, and they found a new target, electric vehicle charging stations. So Seattle City Light says 8 of its EV charging stations have been hit just since last March.
Yeah, the thieves are looking for what the utility says is just a small amount of copper. Cairo 7's Deborah Horn is in Seattle Central District, where a charging station was just hit this past weekend.
When this EV charging station was hit over the weekend, that was the second time. Now anybody coming here hoping to charge up their vehicle finds this one is simply not working. What is it that they are actually taking?
So they're coming in and they're just taking an implement and they're cutting it right off at the end.
Jen Strang, a spokeswoman for Seattle City Light, showed us just what the thieves are after.
So you can see where there is a small amount of copper, but then the rest of it is just an insulated cable.
A small amount of copper and not a large return.
What they think is very valuable turns out to not be very valuable at all.
Well, what is the value?
It's about $10.
These are electric vehicle charging stations that haven't yet been targeted. You can see the cables the thieves are slicing off. Since March, crooks have hit 8 of the 13 charging stations Seattle City Light has around its service area, and it's dangerous work. Some electricity is always flowing through these cables. Still, the crime doesn't surprise custom furniture designer Joel Shepard, who works across the street from these stations.
Well, if they're going to take catalytic converters and risk there, why not take the easy ones?
No, I feel like that's just a symptom of a bigger problem, which sucks because electric cars should have a place to charge, but also we should do something about the people who need money and food and housing.
Strang says City Light is also planning a pilot program to create curbside EV stations that are essentially just a pole and a hose that drops down.
So we will have 30 of those that we are installing throughout the service territory, and that's starting as soon as February.
Well, they have to do something because this is a very expensive crime for Seattle City Light. They tell us it costs $2,500 to repair each of these stations, and they've done this one before. There's also another issue. This is happening in a lot of cities, and so the supply chain issues are making it difficult to keep up with demand. And one more thing. This is a crime. If you know anything about what has been happening to these EV charging stations, you're asked to give Seattle police a call. Reporting in the Central District, Deborah Horn, Cairo 7 News.
When
I find you, you'll pay for killing my friends.
I gather the proponents of EVs and charging station developers didn't factor in the tweakers and dope fiends who'd be cutting the cables for a couple bags of that payal while causing a couple $1,000s worth of damage in the process. This era of electric vehicles descending upon us will be quite interesting.
Drop those hostiles.
Come on, I gotta get on this. Hold on 1 second, y'all.
prevention and treatment efforts as cases of certain sexually transmitted diseases rise. Infection rates for some STDs, including syphilis, have been rising for years. In 2021, the rate of syphilis cases reached its highest since 1991, and the total number of cases hit its highest since 1948. Dr. Susanna Block, a pediatric hospitalist in Seattle, says that syphilis is on the rise in all sexually active groups, from teens to pregnant women. Doctors are also seeing a rise in congenital syphilis when an infected mother passes the disease on to her baby.
Because we've seen 51 cases of congenital syphilis in 2021, those are 51 kids who are going to have lifelong impacts from this.
Final statewide numbers aren't out for 2022, but King County alone reported 12 cases of congenital syphilis last year. Congenital syphilis can lead to premature birth, stillbirth, and early infant death. For those children who do survive, it can cause deafness and blindness.
Just about.
Yet another reason not to be running around just diving off in any bitch. I don't give a fuck how attractive she is. Everything that looked good initially ain't good officially. And wandering around out there being guided by those carnal desires, aka thinking with your dick, I had you in a world of trouble, in a world of pain. Anything that comes too easy should raise your suspicions and give you pause. All that one night stand shit, or fucking a bitch you knocked at the club or a party, or at random on a humbug, it's OV. At least for me. I'm gonna leave that for all you motherfuckers who don't mind learning the hard way. Have fun. I ain't going. I can't do it. I'll gladly take me a bookworm, lesbian bitch who only goes to school, work, maybe church. Maybe 2 or 3. But them old bop ass hoes who be passing that shit out like Obama phones, could keep that shit. I'm good. I don't know where the fuck I would find that. I ain't finna get into all of that.
For an attempted kidnapping suspect is now locked up in King County Jail. Surveillance video of the terrifying incident has been circulating all over social media.
A distinct tattoo also captured on cameras what detectives say helped lead them to that suspect. Fox 13's Frankie Thompson joins us from the Auburn Police Headquarters with the latest on this investigation. Frankie?
Brian, Hannah, Auburn police say this attempted kidnapping is possibly the most calls they've ever received on a case. And they say it's because so many people across the community know exactly who is on this surveillance video.
I know that with the amount of interaction we got on this, there was obviously a lot of fear and just a lot of determination to see this guy arrested.
Auburn police snatched up this attempted kidnapping suspect before the risk of him attempting to snatch someone else. Surveillance video shows the man at a drive-through coffee stand trying to yank a barista out of a window with what appeared to be a looped zip tie in his hand. The woman pulled her arm away and slammed the window closed.
They are in vulnerable positions because usually they're controlling those spots by themselves at early hours in the morning when it's dark outside. But this barista did an awesome job of protecting herself and fighting this person off.
Police say the suspect drove away in a Chevy Silverado pickup truck, but not before cameras got a good look at his tattoo, what appears to say Chevrolet. Investigators say once they posted this video of the suspect to Twitter, they knew social media detectives would start digging.
We had a lot of people calling saying that they knew this individual. Obviously, the video was so great. It gave us that really good picture detailing that tattoo on his arm. And then we also got a really good side profile. The camera quality was perfect.
Police say surveillance video from other businesses on the same street of the coffee stand gave investigators a better view of the getaway truck, ultimately tracing back to the suspect's house where he was arrested.
We were able to conduct a search of his pickup after we arrested him, and we were able to find evidence linking him to the scene.
I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to look.
Exactly what was found inside the suspect's Chevy. They say he was caught right on time.
Obviously, the situation could have been so much worse, and we're glad it wasn't. So it was very important to us to find this person so that another similar incident didn't happen again.
The barista and the owner of the coffee stand are both asking for their privacy at this time in fear of being targeted. Investigators are finishing up some paperwork before submitting it to the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for potential charges. Reporting live in Auburn, Frankie Thompson, Fox 13 News.
Frankie, thank you.
So here we have a weirdo who wakes up and decides he wants to wrangle and lasso a bitch. For all my female viewers out there, which based on my analytics appears to be quite a few, pardon my expressions, just a figure of speech. Y'all say this shit all the time. I can't. Anyway, this dude decides he wants to lasso a bitch with a zip tie. Dude, it is not that serious. You could have took that same couple dollars that you dropped on the ground in the process of trying to grab this woman and carried your ass over there on 125th and got yourself the whole shebang. But nah. You want to go caveman on the hoe. Oh, shit. Got the side of his face in this quite distinct Chevrolet tattoo on his forearm, all on camera. Like when the surveillance footage dropped, the locals weren't gonna recognize that, hey, that's what's the name from up the street. You do know his cameras down near everywhere, right? They didn't show his face on the courtroom footage, but they made it a point to zoom in on that tattoo. Guilty as charged. Not only is rape some weirdo cowardly shit, but haven't you heard the news that syphilis is on the rise in all sexually active groups? It'll be just your luck you pull a weirdo move and get burnt in the process. Hold on, man. I gotta figure out how to get this shit off the screen because this shit is irking the fuck out of me. It say look at the intel section. Am I missing something, man? 'Cause I can't just have this shit up on the screen like that. Come on now. Alright, so go right here. None of these are labeled intel. And I don't know what the fuck. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna just have to rock with that shit on the screen, man. Sorry about that, y'all. It's always some bullshit.
The war in Ukraine, a White House...
Always.
In Ukraine, a White House national security official said today that the U.S. is looking into sanctions to target the production of Iranian drones Russia is using to attack civilians in Ukraine. It may surprise you that some of those drones include computer parts made right here in the U.S. and European nations. CBS's Chris Lipsey has our investigation from inside Ukraine.
They menace Ukraine's skies, killing hundreds and scarring millions. But while the drones are Russian and Iranian, key technology is European and American. The Ukrainian government showed us photos of components produced by U.S. companies Maxim and Microchip, retrieved from Russian and Russian-modified Iranian drones.
So what are we looking at here? So this is Orlan 10. It is a basic Russian UAV.
Ukrainian drone specialist Pavlo Koschuk shows us the chip inside. The logo reads U-Blocks, a Swiss company.
So without this chip... No, the plane doesn't know where to fly.
The same kind of chips are found inside smartphones, tablets, cars, potentially anything used with satellite navigation. But in Ukraine, Russia is using them to tap into GLONASS, Moscow's answer to GPS. Ukrainian lawmaker Yaroslav Yaroshin says at least 6 American companies produce GLONASS-compatible chips.
Microchip technology, Chandler, Arizona, that's my hometown. So to be clear, civilians are being killed.
Yes. And what we can do, we can stop to sell these chips.
None of the American companies agreed to an interview or would answer whether they do business in Russia. U-Blocks, the maker of the Swiss chip we saw, says they cut ties with Russian companies at the start of the war. But CBS has seen recent customs forms that show components from the U.S. and Europe are still making it into Russia today through distributors in third-party countries.
The microchips are going indirectly to Russia through China, through Malaysia and other third countries.
So are you saying that countries like China are laundering this technology for Russia?
Of course, yeah.
The companies argue it's intended for civilians, but that doesn't stop Russia from using it to kill.
If those companies were in this room, what would you tell them?
I want to ask if they really want to see their logos here. That is the question.
Chris Lipsey, CBS News, Kyiv.
Just another example of a little bit of double dealing by Uncle Sam. Can't necessarily blame the government directly because it's private industry, even though we all know that the government plays a major role in how private industry operates. The usual.
Video shocking all of America. A little boy in a diaper wandering around the hallway of his family's apartment building wielding a gun. And that's no toy gun. Authorities say it's for real. You can even hear clicks as he pulls the trigger. A security camera captured the terrifying episode outside Indianapolis. Neighbors called cops to report a child with a gun.
He was up the stairs, and that was when he looked down and pointed it at me and said something like, look what I got, ha ha. Hello?
By coincidence, a camera crew from the Reels TV show On Patrol Live followed the officers as they went to check out the report and speak to the dad. The cops are about to leave, but then a neighbor plays the doorbell video for them. They return to the apartment.
We have video of your kid holding the gun.
They look around.
He said he doesn't personally own a firearm, but his brother does, and leaves it here.
Then they find the weapon inside a roll-top desk.
Smith & Wesson SD9, a 9mm.
The dad, Shane Osborne, was taken into custody, charged with child neglect. I spoke to prosecutor Ryan Mears. When you watch the video, it sure seems like this 4-year-old is pretty comfortable handling this gun. It's almost like he's familiar with it.
No question. I mean, I think it's a reasonable inference that child had possessed that firearm on previous occasions. And then that child is actually the one who directed the police to the firearm inside the residence.
Mears says the little boy actually has a nickname for the gun, a pew-pew. I guess he was calling it like pew-pew, the way like a kid would make a gun sound.
The gun sound, correct.
If you're a homeowner in Washington and you're still paying for electricity, then I've got some big news for you. Just weeks ago, the federal government passed an extension to the solar investment credit.
Yeah, buddy. If people like this continue to breed, it will forever be an uphill battle for the human race. You got this shawty running around in the stairwell of an apartment building, playing with a gun, waving it around, pointed each which way, muzzle pointing up towards his face. He pulling the trigger. Had it been one in the head, shit could have been cataclysmic. Before they saw the actual footage of the kid with the gun waving it around, the police was finna leave. Even after the father had told him he was in there asleep while this 4-year-old kid was running around the hallway in his diaper, unattended. That ain't neglect in itself? And why is your 4-year-old still in a diaper anyway? I could be wrong, but he doesn't look developmentally disabled. It just looks like his father is a Neanderthal, and a little bit of that might have trickled down into his genetic makeup. Got his father in the mugshot, looking like he mad at somebody. Stop it. Cut it out. I don't know why I fucking waited till the last second to do that. Alright, come on with it. Oh, he got my ass. I knew it. Yep, it's OV. Alright, y'all, that's it. I'm gonna catch up with y'all in a minute. Don't forget that booster. Get that shot. Know what I'm talking about? Go get it or else.